We just returned from our first Alaska cruise tour, and even after taking 6 Alaska cruises, we discovered insider tips that'll transform your cruise tour from exhausting to extraordinary. And stick around as we reveal the big mistake we made that we would definitely do differently if we took another cruise tour up next. Welcome aboard, everyone. I'm Don B from Eat, Sleep, Cruise. When booking an Alaska cruise tour, it's important to remember what's actually included and what will cost you extra. Unlike cruise ships, meals, coffee, and all other beverages at the lodges will cost extra. One insider tip is to bring snacks for your room and budget for meals, which range between $15 and $40 per person. Most of the Princess Lodges have a coffee shop, a casual restaurant, and a sit-down restaurant, with prices very similar to what you'll probably pay back at home. You can pre-purchase meal plans for added convenience, and we did see many guests using these vouchers. The plans vary as to how many breakfast, lunch, and dinner meals are included, and it's based on the length of your tour. Alaska is vast, and the distance between the lodges are substantial. You'll spend a significant amount of time on motor coaches traveling between destinations during your Princess Alaska cruise tour. For example, the journey from Fairbanks to Denali takes about 3 hours by bus, and from Denali to Mount McKinley Lodge is approximately 2 hours. There is also the rail service from McKinley to Whittier, which is approximately 5.5 hours, or depending on the itinerary you choose, there's also rail service from Denali to Whittier, which is closer to 9.5 hours. So make sure to bring entertainment, snacks, bottled water, and comfortable clothing for all these transfers. While Alaska teems with wildlife, animal encounters depend on several factors like the season, weather, location, and like anything else in life, timing. So don't be disappointed if you don't see all of the big 5 in Denali, which are moose, caribou, sheep, wolves, and grizzly bears during your visit to the interior of the state. You can increase your chances of seeing wildlife by booking additional optional tours, exploring on your own, or visiting during certain times of year where certain animals are more active than others. Just like spotting wildlife, catching a glimpse of Denali is probably also at the top of your agenda. However, there's even less of a chance of checking this off your list. The mountain is notoriously shy and often shrouded in clouds. In fact, only about 30% of visitors actually see the mountain. So don't base your entire trip satisfaction on seeing the peak. Enjoy the incredible wilderness, depending on when you visit, the fall colors, and the overall Denali experience regardless of mountain visibility. Before we dive into more details about what to expect on Alaska Cruise Tour, we're going to share some of the smart decisions you can make before booking that will make your trip unforgettable. While cruise tours run in both northbound and southbound directions, we highly suggest you choose a southbound cruise tour. This would mean you do the land portion first, then the scenic rail ride, and then finally end with the cruise. As we'll discuss later in this video, the land portion involves some considerable logistics, early mornings, and consistent movement between locations. So getting this more demanding segment out of the way first means you can truly relax once on board the ship. As seasoned cruisers, one of the best parts of cruising is unpacking once and visiting multiple destinations. There are several options for these land and sea cruise tours, and several cruise lines do offer them. Now, we partnered with Princess Cruises to complete this cruise tour, and that cruise line alone has 40 different cruise tour combinations that include stays at their lodges, the direct wilderness scenic rail, and a 7-night cruise between Whittier, Alaska and Vancouver, British Columbia. Several variations exist. These include directions, as we just mentioned, northbound versus southbound, as well as length, ranging from 10 to 17 days in total. They also have varying start points, number of lodges visited, as well as which specific lodge you'll experience, and even which cruise ship you'll sail on. So be sure to review them carefully and choose the itinerary that best aligns to your travel goals. For this Princess Cruises Alaska Cruise Tour, we did the 12-night Denali Explorer, which included 1 night in Fairbanks, 2 nights at the Denali Princess Lodge, and 2 nights at the Mount McKinley Princess Lodge, before we took the 5-hour train ride from Talkeetna to Whittier, where we boarded Sapphire Princess for the 7-night Voyage of the Glaciers Alaska cruise. Given all the moving parts of a cruise tour, itineraries, and the logistics, working with an experienced travel advisor who is familiar with Alaska cruises and Alaska cruise tours can save time and ensure you select the best option for your preferences and budget. Even if you cruised before, we recommend using an advisor as they can assist with any special requests, add-ons, or if you may need some help. If you don't already have a travel advisor, we recommend MEI Travel. They are the official travel partner of Eat, Sleep, Cruise. And you can take advantage of MEI Travel's deals and promotions by using our exclusive link down in the description. Along with lodging, your cruise tour will include some select tours, but many additional excursions are available to purchase. For example, in Fairbanks, most guests experience the Steamwheeler Riverboat Cruise. Some itineraries also include a Gold Drudge 8 tour. In Denali, most guests will experience the Natural History Tour. Connoisseur cruise tours get the Tundra Wilderness Tour instead. But then there are popular add-ons, including flight scene tours, ATV adventures, zip lining, jet boating, and more. Budget accordingly and prioritize based on your interests. Guests can also choose to upgrade their Natural History Tour in Denali National Park through the Tundra Wilderness Tour for somewhere around $50 per person. We definitely recommend doing this, as you'll get to go further into the park and greatly increase your chance of seeing wildlife. Now that we have you booked, let's talk about what happens when you actually arrive at these lodges, because this is where things get interesting. Unlike cruises, you cannot select specific room locations within the lodges. In some instances, you don't even have a say in your lodge assignment. For example, Princess partners with Pike's Waterfront Lodge in Fairbanks for overflow accommodations. While you can specify your preferred bed configurations, room assignments are automatic by the hotel. Keep in mind that these hotels can be quite spread out, so you might be placed in a building quite far from the main lodge's facilities. Most lodges do offer on-property shuttle service for guests, though. While we knew there were lots of different cruise tour options, one thing that surprised us the most was the complexity of all the moving parts. At each lodge, guests are constantly coming and going. We encountered surprisingly few travelers following our identical itinerary. Some guests were traveling in the opposite direction. Some guests were boarding a different cruise ship. Some had a different series of lodges, and some had fewer days in each lodge. Despite this constant flow of visitors, Princess manages arrivals and departures smoothly. At each lodge, you receive an itinerary and schedule of your included tours and any optional tours you had, as well as your departure time. That way, everyone is kept on schedule. Now, depending on the specific cruise tour you choose, you likely won't spend much time at each location. Most days are just 1 to 2 nights per lodge. While this might be fine for some people, it's really not enough time to take advantage of everything the resorts and surrounding areas have to offer. While you might like to get dressed up when you cruise, there's no need to pack any fancy attire for the land portion of your cruise tour. And for that scenic rail, you definitely want some comfortable clothes. The Alaska lodges maintain a relaxed atmosphere throughout the day, even at the more upscale dining venues. Casual, comfortable attire is appropriate for outdoor daytime activities as well as lodge dining and nighttime activities. We did change most nights for dinner, but that usually just meant putting on a pair of jeans and a nicer shirt. At most lodges, there's one restaurant that requires reservations. For example, the Edgewater at Fairbanks, the King Salmon at Denali Lodge, and North Fork at Mount McKinley Lodge. Especially during peak season, it's advisable to make these reservations ahead of time to secure your ideal time. What the cruise line didn't tell us ahead of time is that you can make these reservations using the Open Table app. As an added tip, Holland America Line's Denali Lodge is right next door, and you can even make reservations at that restaurant if you prefer the menu. One reason we would have liked more time at these lodges is that they're just not a place to sleep. Every lodge offers a variety of amenities and activities. They include naturalist talks, guided walks, wildlife or northern lights presentations, cultural demonstrations, hiking trails, and interactive programs that are included in your stay. You'll also want to check each lodge's daily activity schedule, usually displayed in the lobby, for a complete list. During our stay at Mount McKinley, we attended a presentation by a mountain climber who has scaled Denali multiple times in his decades-long career. Between included tours and all the optional activities, you might not have much free time to explore on your own. But if you do forego the more organized tours, most lodges do offer shuttle service. The Fairbanks Lodge offers a shuttle into downtown for $10, while the Mount McKinley Lodge offers a shuttle to Talkeetna for $10. Likewise, the Denali Lodge offers shuttle service to and from the National Park Visitor Center at no additional cost. Speaking of getting around, let's talk about one of the most scenic parts of the entire experience, the train ride. Perhaps the biggest difference in the rail service from Denali and the Mount McKinley Lodges is the duration. The transit to and from Denali is approximately 9.5 hours, where it's only 5.5 hours to and from Talkeetna. Other big difference though is the train itself. While both feature enclosed glass dome cars, the Denali Transfer is a double-decker rail car with outdoor viewing platforms, while the Mount McKinley Transfer is a single-level rail car with no open-air access. So set your photography and viewing expectations accordingly. Further, we're not sure if this is true of all McKinley rail service, but seats on our train were arranged in groups of 4 around a table. This means you'll sit with others and half the seats will be traveling backwards. We know this is not ideal for those with motion sensitivity. If you choose a Southbound cruise tour, you'll arrive at the ship much later on embarkation day than usual, most likely somewhere after 7 p.m. This means missing most of the typical embarkation day activities and exploration, along with those early dinner seatings. However, you can head directly onto the ship and to your cabin once you arrive in Whittier, as the entire check-in process is actually completed on the train. Just remember to complete your muster drill immediately upon boarding, and ensure you have all your cruise documents, passports, and your medallion, if it was shipped to you, with you while on the train. One reason Heidi and I prefer cruising to land-based travel is the ease of visiting multiple destinations in one trip. Acting as a floating hotel, plenty of other benefits, there's no need to pack and unpack several times during the trip. Unfortunately, that's not the case with the land and rail portion of a cruise tour. Each time we were departing for a new destination, we need to place our luggage outside our room, usually between 6:30 and 7 a.m. This didn't only prevent us from settling in, it also meant a lot of early mornings. Transfers and tour departures can be early too. To ensure your transfer from lodge to lodge is smooth and your luggage gets there, similar to the luggage tags that you need to print out for a cruise, Princess uses different luggage tags during the land portion that are issued when you arrive at the lodges. Pay attention to the tags and the instructions. At your first lodge, you'll receive "Join Me on Board" tags. These indicate that the luggage can go directly to your cruise cabin. This should only include items that you won't need until you board the ship, like cocktail dresses, sports coats, and the like. "Join Me Tonight" tags should be placed on the remainder of your suitcases. This luggage will be left outside your room the morning of departure and transported separately to your next lodge. Be sure to keep any essentials as a small carry-on backpack that you can take on the bus or the train with you. Much like other hotels on land, lodge check-in times are typically between 3 and 4 p.m., but cruise tour schedules are set by the cruise line and may have you arriving earlier. Be prepared for potential delays in room availability and plan activities accordingly. Use this time to explore common areas, grab coffee, or take orientation tours. Don't expect consistent internet connectivity throughout your time in interior Alaska. Wi-Fi may be limited, slow, or unavailable entirely. Embrace this digital detox opportunity and focus on the natural surroundings and activities. Our cell service and lodge Wi-Fi did work pretty well in Fairbanks and Denali, but was spotty at Mount McKinley. Further, cell service is often non-existent during the transfers via bus and train, and there's no Wi-Fi available on either. Interior Alaska is a subarctic climate that has low precipitation. Right, who knew? This means that you can dehydrate quite easily. That's why it's very important to drink lots of water, especially during outdoor physical activities, even if you don't feel warm or thirsty. Thankfully, you can stay hydrated by using water refill stations available at the Princess Wilderness Lodges. This saves money on bottled water purchases and is environmentally friendly. So be sure to pack that refillable water bottle and take it to the main lodge building for refills. Remember at the beginning when I mentioned the biggest mistake most travelers make? Well, after experiencing an Alaska cruise tour firsthand, there's one thing we would absolutely do differently if we ever did another one. If we could do this trip again, we would choose fewer lodges with more time at each one. Here's why this matters so much. First, you'll be exhausted from constant packing and unpacking. Remember those 6:30 a.m. luggage calls? When you're moving lodges every single night or two, you never get a chance to truly settle in and relax. Second, you miss out on all the amazing lodge amenities and activities. Lodges have fire pits, hiking trails, naturalist talks, observation decks, and unique experiences. If you're always rushing around to the next location, you'll never get to enjoy them. Third, you can't truly absorb each location. Alaska's interior deserves time to soak in. The landscapes, the wildlife opportunities, the peaceful moments watching the mountains, these experiences require patience and presence. So our recommendation is to choose itineraries with at least 2 nights per lodge. 3 would be even better. We would recommend fewer lodges with more depth over trying to see everything. Alaska's weather is unpredictable, with temperature swings up to 30 degrees depending on location, time of year, and time of day. However, you probably don't need as many warm clothes and heavy outerwear as you think. Pack in layers with waterproof outer shells, warm base layers, and comfortable hiking shoes. Lightweight travel pants and shirts are a must, especially if you plan to do additional outdoor activities. Of course, know your own temperature regulation as well. Heidi and I tend to run hot, so we packed additional lighter layers like quarter zips and vests. But if you tend to be cold, you may want to consider a couple additional warmer layers like wool or fleece sweaters. Other essential items include gloves and hats, binoculars for wildlife viewing, your camera, extra power banks and charging cords for all your devices, sunglasses and sunscreen, bug spray, a lightweight water-resistant day bag, casual evening wear for the lodges, that refillable water bottle, and all your medication. Now, to help you avoid overpacking, the Princess Lodges have self-service laundry facilities available for an additional cost. There are typically several laundry rooms throughout the property, so just refer to a resort map to find the closest location. We suggest you pack sufficient clothing for the entire land portion, that way you don't waste any time, but it's nice that they're there if it's excessively rainy or muddy during your trip. Keep in mind, Princess cruise ships also have self-serve laundry facilities, so try to do laundry on this ship instead. Actually, speaking of your cruise ship and cruise, let's talk a little bit about that experience, because honestly, the cruise is half the experience of an Alaska cruise tour. Now, as we mentioned, the land portion of the cruise tour basically only includes the lodging and a couple tours depending on your itinerary, but that's different for the cruise portion. So if you're new to cruising or new to Princess cruises, it's important to know what's included in the standard cruise fare. Your cruise includes accommodations, main dining room meals, and a buffet open most of the day, plus, depending on your ship, some additional grab-and-go casual options. Most entertainment and onboard activities, basic beverages, and transportation between ports. The base fare does not include specialty dining, alcoholic beverages, internet, gratuities, and shore excursions unless you purchase one of the packages, which we'll talk about in a minute. Now, if you're doing a Princess Cruises Alaska Cruise Tour, all cruises follow the Voyage of the Glacier's itinerary. This is a 7-night voyage, which typically features stops in Ketchikan, Juneau, and Skagway, plus glacier viewing in Glacier Bay National Park and Yakutat Bay of the Hubbard Glacier. This means the only decision you'll have to make when it comes to the cruise portion is the ship. Unfortunately, the ship we were on, Sapphire Princess, is not sailing in Alaska in 2026 because she was actually a perfect ship for this itinerary. But Princess will have 4 ships offering Alaska cruise tours in 2026. We suggest you review the ship's offerings and deck plans to see which will suit your travel party best. It's important to note that not all ships sailing in Alaska offer cruise tours. For instance, the brand new Star Princess will be sailing in Alaska in 2026, but will be sailing round trip from Seattle and not offering a cruise tour option. Part of what makes Princess Cruises a leader in Alaska is its North to Alaska programming. Enrichment opportunities include presentations from Iditarod champions, lumberjacks, storytellers, and cultural experts sharing authentic Alaska experiences. These talks provide valuable insight that are often missing on other cruise lines. And the highlight for many is puppies in the piazza during the ship's visit to Skagway. Additionally, all Princess ships sailing in Alaska feature a naturalist who will give lectures on wildlife, glaciers, and more. The naturalist will often narrate scenic cruising as well, pointing out wildlife sightings for all guests to enjoy right from the cruise ship. If that's not enough, North to Alaska program also features fresh Alaska seafood on the menu, along with locally sourced ingredients in local beer, wine, and spirits. While you can certainly have a great Princess Alaska cruise tour without paying for onboard extras, Princess does offer the Plus and Premier packages, but again, this is only for your cruise portion of the package. Princess Plus and Princess Premier packages bundle add-ons to provide a more all-inclusive experience. These extras include benefits like Wi-Fi, beverage packages, prepaid gratuities, specialty dining, and upcharge casual dining credits. The Princess Premier package even adds in shore excursion credit, a photo package, and reserved seating in the theater. Insider tip, if you were thinking about purchasing a beverage package and even just one of the other add-ons, upgrading to the Princess Plus or Princess Premier package is probably worth it. But of course, we recommend crunching the numbers first just to ensure you'll actually save money. Alaska's scenic cruising through glacier-filled waters, wildlife viewing opportunities, and stunning landscapes make balcony cabins particularly worthwhile. You'll have a private outdoor space for photography, wildlife watching, and enjoy fresh air without competing for deck space. Whether upgrading to a balcony cabin is worth it or not is an ongoing debate among cruisers. It's true it will cost more, and it's also true that Princess ships have a variety of indoor lounges and outdoor rail space to take in the scenic vistas. But if you have the ability, we definitely recommend the upgrade, especially in Alaska. When we cruise, we have some tried and true accessories that we always bring to maximize space in our cruise cabin. We recommend purchasing some magnetic hooks and an over-the-door shoe organizer for your trip. Since the walls of the cabin are metal, the hooks can be used to hang bags, raincoats, and the like. We actually use the magnets to hang our shoe organizer as well. We don't use it for shoes, but rather to store small items like toiletries, chargers, and sunglasses. This helps to keep everything organized and frees up valuable storage and counter space. Every single cruise line has an app, and regardless of what cruise line you're going on, you want to download that app as soon as possible. The Princess Cruises app is necessary for a seamless cruise experience. So after you download it, make sure to familiarize yourself with it before the cruise. The app allows you to navigate the ship, make dining reservations, order beverages to your exact location, communicate with travel companions, and access the daily schedule. Even if you don't have a Wi-Fi package, you can still use the app's features. Unique to Princess Cruises is the Ocean Medallion. This is a wearable device that serves as your key card during the cruise. It's issued with a lanyard, or you can purchase other accessories like belt clips, wristbands, or bracelet. We are big fans of the Ocean Medallion. This means your lifeline on the ship is always accessible without having to fumble around for your room key. The medallion enables keyless stateroom entry. It's used for scanning on and off the ship, and allows you to make purchases with ease. If you live in the US and book in advance, it's mailed to your home. Otherwise, you'll receive it at embarkation. And as we mentioned, if you're doing the Southbound Alaska Cruisetour, you'll receive your medallion during the scenic rail ride. Avoid unexpected roaming charges while out to sea by keeping your phone in airplane mode and relying on the ship's Wi-Fi when needed. If your cell carrier covers you in Alaska and Canada, you can take your phone out of airplane mode while on land. However, it won't work while at sea. If you forget, some carriers will send you a heads-up text informing you of the prices. For instance, we have T-Mobile, and they charge $5.99 per minute for talk and 50 cents for text with no data option when out to sea. While it's not required, we highly recommend pre-booking all your dining reservations before you cruise. Popular dining times at the specialty restaurants do fill up quickly. If you forget to do so, make them immediately upon boarding the ship. For the main dining room, you'll need to decide if you want traditional dining or flexible dining. With traditional dining, you'll have a set table and dinner time each night, either an early seating or a late seating. If you prefer more flexibility, you can dine at different times each evening. Regardless, making a reservation for your desired time is still advisable so you don't have to wait when you arrive. Regardless of the cruise, we always recommend spending some time as soon as you board to explore the ship. We usually start at the very top of the ship and work our way down, exploring all different venues. Exploring the ship also helps you get your bearings, locate your favorite venues, and maybe even find some hidden gems. Now, of course, in Alaska, this becomes even more crucial because you want to find those prime glacier viewing spots. Popular spots include forward-facing observation lounges, open-air promenade decks, and the pool or sun decks. Many cruise lines also open up the bow of the ship during glacier viewing. As we mentioned previously, the Princess Wilderness Lodges are remote, and the buildings are often spread out across the property. This means that your room could be a considerable distance from the main lodge and its amenities. Further, many lodge buildings are 2 stories, and often do not have elevator access. Thus, if you have mobility concerns or require accessible accommodations, contact Princess well in advance. Lift-equipped motor coaches, accessible lodge rooms, and other specialized equipment are limited and must be secured before departure. This is again where a travel advisor can come in handy. Early and late season cruise tours have their benefits, like cheaper prices and fewer crowds. Late season visits even offer beautiful fall colors and a chance to see the northern lights. However, guests can face more unpredictable weather, including early snow, which can impact tours. Since we were the last cruise tour of the season, the lodges were running out of supplies too. Every restaurant had at least 1 or 2 menu items that were no longer available. Thus, weigh factors carefully when choosing your travel dates. Now, if you want an in-depth look of what it's like experiencing a Princess Cruises Alaska Cruise Tour, click or tap on our Princess Alaska Cruise Tour review video right here on YouTube. From a day-to-day look at our time at the lodges, the scenic rail, and 7 nights on board Sapphire Princess, we cover it all to help you decide if an Alaska Cruise Tour is right for your next vacation.